In this lecture, we'll see the current components in a transistor, then transistor configurations, and in all the configurations, we will see the expression for the output current. Okay, output current expressions. So before going to those topics, we will see the symbol of the bipolar junction transistor. Okay, so there are two types of transistors, BJTs, or NPN transistor and PNP transistor, and the symbol of these two transistors are represented like this. So these two transistors has got three terminals. The three terminals are base, emitter, and collector, and you know the structure of them. If a base, emitter, and collector are of N type, then base is P type, or emitter and collector are P type, then base is N type. Okay, so according to that, the terminals are represented like this. Emitter is of N type in case of NPN transistor, and collector is also of N type. Then the middle region of these two regions, emitter and collector, is base, okay, which is of P type. Okay, so NPN transistor is like this. Collect emitter is N region, base is P region, and collector is N region. Similarly, if you take PNP transistor, emitter is P type, okay, and collector is also P type. These two, emitter and collectors, are of P type. Then the base is of N type in case of PNP transistor. Okay, now the symbol is represented like this. In all these, in both symbols, the symbol is distinguished by the arrow. Where is the arrow present in this symbol? Arrow is present in the emitter terminal. Okay, if you see this emitter terminal, you have got an arrow, and if you see in the PNP transistor also, you have got an arrow to the emitter terminal. So emitter terminal is having arrow, but in both the cases, the arrow showing the direction is opposite. Okay, in case of NPN transistor, it is P to N is the arrow. Okay, even in the case of PNP transistor also, P to N is the arrow. So P is emitter, N is the base in this case, P to N. So in both the cases, the direction of the current is from P type to N type. Okay, in the emitter terminal, it is from P type to N type. So we can even say this current is because of the emitter current in both the cases. Whatever the emitter current is there, that emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current, right? In both the cases, this equation holds good for NPN transistor as well as PNP transistor. Okay, both. So IE is equal to IB plus IC. So in case of NPN transistor, emitter current leaves outside, emitter current goes outside, whereas base current is getting inside, and collector current is also getting inside IC. So IE is equal to IB plus IC. Outgoing current is equal to incoming currents. So IE is leaving outside, IB and IC are coming inside. And this arrow is showing that if the arrow shows that emitter current is leaving outside the transistor from P side to N side, then the transistor symbol we call it as NPN transistor. So in this PNP transistor, emitter current enters into the transistor. If the emitter current is entering into the transistor, then according to KCL, the remaining two current components will be leaving out of the transistor. So IB is leaving, IC is leaving. So in this case also, IE is equal to IB plus IC, and the current emitter current is flowing from P side to N side, that is emitter to base in case of PNP transistor, and in case of NPN transistor, it is moving from base to emitter. Outside the transistor is NPN, inside the transistor is PNP. So you have to remember like that. And the symbols also, you just see how the symbols are drawn, and you have to practice them, because this symbol is used while representing this device in the circuit. Okay, like diode symbol we have when we are constructing this rectifier circuits or clipper circuits, clamper circuits, we use it to represent that device in the circuit by representing that with a symbol. So symbol is very important when we are constructing circuits. So when you want this transistor to be used in circuit, you have to replace that with a symbol and use it in the circuit. Okay, so in this symbol, arrowhead represents the conventional current direction from P to N. That means the emitter current direction is represented by the arrowhead. So arrowhead represents the conventional current direction, and this is always from P side to the N side, whether it is NPN transistor or PNP transistor. particularly if you take in emitter, emitter is N type, base is P type, or base is maybe N type, emitter may be P type. These two combinations are possible. Therefore, always the current is from P side to N side, and this is showing you the conventional current flow direction in the transistor, which is equal to emitter current. Okay, so that is a symbol. Next, coming to the current components in a transistor. So we have seen that transistor has got three regions: emitter, base, collector. Then we have got two junctions, emitter junction, collector junction. Now we will see in this transistor how the currents are flowing. So finally we got it from the operation that emitter current is equal to collector current plus base current, or base current plus collector current. You got that equation. But to get this equation, IE is equal to IB plus IC, what are all the currents that are flowing in all the three regions, or maybe crossing the junctions? So those are all components which are present in the transistor, current components present in the transistor. We will just look at by seeing this diagram. In this diagram, I have taken PNP transistor. It is represented here. So this is PNP transistor, PNP transistor. That means the emitter is of P type. This is emitter. Base is of N type, and collector is of P type. So emitter base junction, the types of semiconductor materials are PNP. So it is a PNP transistor. Okay, so PNP transistor, the junctions are represented here. So JE is emitter junction, and JC is collector junction. Those two junctions are here. Now we have applied the biasing. Applying the biasing, nothing but what? These two junctions are connected with the battery. So here two batteries you are able to see in this diagram. So one battery is between emitter and base. This is emitter and base. Okay, so between emitter and base, I am just biasing this emitter junction by connecting a battery. So the battery is connected in such a way that it should be forward biased. So this junction should be forward biased. So I want to operate this in active region. Active region, nothing but what? Emitter base junction. Immediately once it comes to your mind that the transistor is operated in active region, that means emitter base junction should be forward biased and collector base junction should be reverse biased. So this is a condition for active region. So if I want to make this emitter base junction forward bias, I have to connect the polarities of the batteries in such a way that positive terminal of the battery, this positive terminal of the battery is connected to P-type semiconductor material. Negative terminal of the battery is connected to N-type semiconductor material. So how do we forward bias a PN junction? By connecting positive terminal of the battery to P-type semiconductor material, negative terminal of the battery to N-type semiconductor material, we will be actually forward biasing that junction. Now it is forward biased by the voltage VEB. So voltage is actually, this battery is connected between emitter and base. Therefore, I am calling this as VEB. But in general, we can even call this battery voltage name as VEE. VEE means emitter voltage. It is base is common. Therefore, we generally represent that with VEE. VEE nothing but it is emitter voltage connected between emitter and base. Whichever is common is there, that terminal we will be connecting. So emitter voltage or emitter base voltage, both are same. Next, I want to make this collector junction to be reverse biased. So this is the collector junction, and this collector junction I want to make it as reverse bias. So to reverse bias that, what is that we have to do? Negative terminal of the battery we have to connect it to positive terminal P-type semiconductor material, and positive terminal of the battery to the N-type semiconductor opposite. So here we have seen negative terminal of the battery VCB is connected to P-type semiconductor material. Positive terminal of the battery is connected to the N-type semiconductor material. So it is the battery polarities are interchanged. Whereas in case of forward bias junction, positive connected to P-type, negative connected to N-type. Whereas in case of reverse bias, negative is connected to P-type, positive is connected to N-type. So the polarities of the battery are connected in reverse. Therefore, it will become reverse biased junction. So under this condition, now how these currents are flowing when the two junctions are biased in an active region, that is emitter base junction is forward biased, collector base junction is reverse biased. Under this case, what happens? The current starts flowing in the regions and junctions. So this current conduction of the current, what happens is when this emitter base junction is forward biased, emitter current starts flowing in the region. Emitter current starts flowing nothing but what, if you see the charge carriers present in the emitter region, what are the charge carriers present in the emitter region? Because it is p type, many number of holes are present. Okay, so many holes are present here. So majority are the holes and minority are the electrons. Okay, minority are electrons. Somewhere here like this. So this is the region. Now holes will be moving in the forward direction. So holes will be moving like this. All the holes will move like this. And because minority charge carriers electrons are there, they will be moving in the opposite direction like this. Electrons will be moving in the opposite direction. Holes will be moving in the forward direction from emitter to base when you apply the battery. So when these holes are moving in this forward direction and electrons are moving in the opposite direction, so it has got so two currents. One is hole current, but which is in the direction forward direction because holes are moving that side, and it has got electron current also because the electrons are flowing in the opposite direction, but the current will flow in the forward direction. Okay, the current due to electrons is also in the forward directions only. Though the electrons are moving in the opposite direction, current will be in the forward direction. So two types of charge carriers are flowing: holes in the forward direction, electrons in the reverse direction. So both charge carriers will constitute the current, and those currents are represented by IHE. IHE, it is hole current, and IEE, so small e represents it is electron current. Okay, so H represent hole, E represent electron, and capital E represent that these currents are flowing in which region? Emitter region. Okay, emitter region. So in the emitter region, when it is forward biased, emitter is p type semiconductor material, and it has got holes as majority charge carriers, electrons as minority charge carriers, and holes will be moving from emitter to base side, and electrons are moving from base side to emitter side, and they are opposite in nature. And those two components, two charge carriers will constitute the current, and that current will be flowing in the direction of the flow of holes. Therefore they will be flowing from emitter to base, and those are represented by IHE for hole current, IEE for electron current. And together we have to take the entire current in the emitter. So entire current in the emitter is because of the holes plus because of electrons. That's why this transistor is a bipolar transistor, because the current conduction is due to flow of both types of charge carriers, holes as well as electrons. So both of them are moving and both are constituting currents, and due to holes it is IHE, due to electrons it is IEE, and total current will be equal to sum of these two. Okay, so the total emitter current is given by this equation. Total emitter current is equal to hole current in the emitter region plus electron current in the emitter region. So these all we call them as components. So what are those components? Current components here in the emitter region, we have got two current components. One is due to holes, movement of holes, and another one is due to movement of electrons. So due to the flow of electrons from base to the emitter, it constitutes the emitter current, electron emitter current, IEE. Due to the flow of holes from emitter to base, it constitutes a hole emitter current, which is represented by IHE. So then in total, the total current in the emitter region is equal to the current due to holes plus the current due to electrons. Therefore, the equation can be written as IE is equal to IHE plus IEE. But here holes are majority in number, electrons are minority in number, small in number. Approximately, this total emitter current is equal to hole current only, because electron current is very small. They are minority charge carriers, very small. IHE is very much greater than IEE. Therefore, approximately IE is equal to IHE only. Okay, so hole current only. So holes are majority charge carriers. So that is all about the current components in the emitter region. Like that, we have to see what are the current components in base region, what are the current components in collector region. Then all together, we should have the current relationships for IE, IB, IC, and the relationship between among these three. IE is equal to IB plus IC. Okay. So now what is happening? These so many electron holes are emitted by the emitter. Those all are moving towards the base, right? Now base is N type. Coming to the base is N type. Base is N type, nothing but what it is having electrons which are majority in number. Electrons are there like this. I am just representing with red color dots, which are electrons because it is N type. Okay, and holes are very small in number. Maybe I represent 2 here. Some holes are very small in number. Now from the emitter side, so many holes are coming. Okay, blue color circles. So many holes are coming. But in N-type base region, holes are minority charge carriers. The holes which are coming from the emitter are majority charge carriers. They are large in number. So many holes are flowing from emitter towards the base. Okay, so many are coming from holes are coming from emitter towards the base, and base is very lightly doped. Though it is N-type semiconductor material, it is lightly doped with small amount of electrons. Electrons are also very small in number. Even holes are very less than even the electrons. Okay, both electrons and holes small in number. In that again, holes are less than electrons because it is a N-type semiconductor metal. So many 100 holes are coming from emitter region. Say 100 holes are flowing from emitter region towards the base region. Now 100 holes are coming, but in the N-type semiconductor material base, we might be having 5 electrons. Say now these 100 holes which are coming from emitter, they recombine with 5 holes in the 5 electrons in the N-type semiconductor material, which is base. Now those recombination, this whole current is coming like this, and some portion of these holes are recombining with the electrons, and the current is constituted, that is flowing like this, and remaining current will be flowing into forward direction. So this remaining current that is flowing into this direction is say 95%. Okay, or 95 electrons you can take. This is 100% they are coming from here, 100 coming from here, and 5% are recombining here, remaining are going like this. So you have got holes coming is total 100 in number, and out of which 5% or 5 are recombining, less than 5 are recombining in the base region, remaining things are going into the collector region. Okay, now therefore what is that I can write for the base? Whatever the holes, the base current you can see here here in this equation, base current is equal to the current that is coming from the emitter region due to holes, that is IHE, minus the current that is going into the collector, that is IHC. That means 100 are coming and 5 are recombining, the remaining 95% are going into the collector. So what will be this 5% of current? 5% of current is equal to 100% current minus 95% current. 100% current is IHE, 95% of the current that is flowing into the collector region due to holes is IHC. So if you subtract these two, then what percentage of current is flowing into the base region we will be getting by the equation IB is equal to IHE minus IHC. So that is what is the base current. So base current is just a recombination current. So the recombination of holes coming from the emitter with the electrons present in the base region. So that recombination will constitute a current called base current, that is equal to IHE minus IHC. Okay, IHE means the emitter hole current minus collector hole current. Collector hole current means what? Those holes which are emitted by the emitter are collected by the collector. But some of them are recombined in the base region. So IB is equal to IHE minus IHC. So that is about the base current. Now coming to the collector current, this collector current, whatever the holes that are emitted by the emitter region, they are collected by the collector region, 95%. That constitutes IHC. That is fine. But this junction, collector junction is reverse biased, right? So because of the reverse biased collector junction, the minority charge carriers in both types of semiconductor materials, base and collector, that constitutes a current called reverse saturation current. So we have to take, because of the reverse biased PN junction also some current will be flowing, but this IHC current is actually coming from the emitter because emitter junction is forward biased. But the collector junction is reverse biased, therefore across the reverse bias junction also some small amount of current is present, which is due to reverse bias junction. We call that as reverse saturation current. So reverse saturation current is represented by IC naught. Okay, IC naught is reverse saturation current. That IC naught is also again, so this collector is P type, right? P type means holes are majority charge carriers. But there are electrons which are minority charge carriers. This IC naught is due to minority charge carriers, right? Minority charge carriers. Minority charge carriers in the collector are electrons. So those electron current is represented by IEC naught. IEC naught is in collector, electrons are minority. Okay, and the current due to that minority charge carrier is reverse saturation current. Reverse saturation current due to electrons is represented by IEC naught. And in the base region, we have got holes which are minority charge carriers. Holes are minority charge carriers in base, and that current is represented by IHC naught. So IHC naught is base minority charge carrier. ICE naught is collector minority charge carriers. Those are crossing the junction JC. This junction JC. So therefore, these two together, if we add, then you will be getting the reverse saturation current IC naught. That means in the collector, the current that is coming from the emitter is collected by the collector. Along with that, because the collector base junction is reverse biased, that junction also having reverse saturation current. So total collector current, if you see this last equation on the right side, IC, total collector current IC is equal to IC naught, which is reverse saturation current. Okay, this is due to reverse biased collector junction. Reverse biased collector junction, it is reverse saturation current. Okay, and this IHC is because of the forward biased emitter junction. That current is coming from the emitter side. This current is coming from emitter side and it is collected by the collector region. Therefore, it is IHC. And IC naught is because of the reverse biased junction, collector junction, that is called as reverse saturation current. So total current in the collector region is equal to the current that is coming from the emitter and it is collected by the collector is IHC plus the reverse saturation current IC naught. Okay, so that is given by IC is equal to IC naught plus IHC. Okay, next same thing can be represented. IC naught is nothing but what? In this case, IC naught is nothing but it is IHC naught plus ICE naught. This is about IC naught. IC naught also has got two components because of minority holes present in base region plus minority electrons present in collector region. So together the reverse saturation current is due to minority charge carriers crossing the base and collector junctions. They are represented by IC naught is equal to IHC naught plus IEC naught. Okay, that is about this equation. Next, coming to the first equation, IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC naught is written, right? So IC is the first and last equations are almost same. The first equation and the last equation. IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC naught. The last equation is IC is equal to IC naught plus IHC. So here IC naught terms are same. Here IHC is nothing but IHC is nothing but alpha IE. Alpha IE is nothing but whatever that current that is coming from the emitter, it is a fraction of that current. Okay, alpha times of IE. It is 95%, right? 100% is coming. So 95% only you are getting as IHC. So IHC can be written as it is 0.95 times of IHE. Can we write? It's almost like I'll write it here. It is like IHC is equal to 95%. I am telling, right? 95% of the whole current. So it is almost like 0.95 times IHE. It is IHC is equal to 0.95 times of IHE. So this 0.95 is nothing but alpha. This is nothing but alpha times of IHE. But alpha times of IHE, I am calling that here IHE is very much greater than IEE, and I can approximate that IE is approximately equal to IHE. So in place of IHE, I can even write here IHC is nothing but alpha times of IE. Okay, IHC in this equation and I alpha times of IE in the equation are both same, and added with IC naught here also added with IC naught. So this equation and this equation both are same. IC can be written as alpha IE plus IC naught because it is a fraction of the emitter current. Alpha times of emitter current is coming into the collector region, plus collector junction is reverse biased, therefore reverse saturation current IC naught. So IC can be represented as alpha IE plus IC naught. So these all are the three current, three region currents. IE is equal to IHE plus IEG. IB is equal to IHE minus IHC, and IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC naught. Alpha is the fraction, that means how much is the relationship between the collector current and the emitter current. So alpha times of emitter current is reaching the collector region, plus the reverse saturation current is IC naught. IC naught is represented as again IHC naught plus IEC naught. So all these current equations are representing this equation, and this equation. These three are the base current, emitter current, collector current. So base current, emitter current, collector current, and all these three currents are related by the equation. Finally, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Okay, IE is equal to always emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current. So this is the final relation. What is IE? What is IB? What is IC? Means they are given by IE is this one, IB is this one, IC is this one. Okay, so these all are the current components in a transistor. So you will know now. So what is the current that is flowing in the emitter junction? What is the current flowing into the base region? What is the current flowing in the collector region? So all these components, if you understand, then you will know the currents flowing in each of the three regions and the total current relationship between all these three currents. IE is equal to IB plus IC. So very, very important topic. You should understand what are all the current components present in a transistor. I hope you understood this. Very, very simple. Okay, emitter current is equal to emitter hole current plus emitter electron current. Electron current is very, very small, therefore it is hole current only. So IE is equal to IHE. Okay, and base current is equal to electron current minus emitter current minus collector current. So therefore IHE minus IHC. Then collector current is equal to alpha times of emitter current plus, because the junction is reverse bias, reverse saturation current plus IC naught. Very simple. IC is equal to alpha times of IE plus IC naught. So what is this alpha times of IE? Nothing but IHC only. IHC is what 95%. That 95% I am representing in terms of 100%. How will be 95% represented in terms of 100%? 0.95 times of 100. 0.95 times of 100 is 95%, right? So the same way I have represented alpha times of IE is 95% of IE is IHC. So IHC is represented as alpha times of IE, plus along with that reverse saturation current is also there, IC naught. Therefore total collector current is equal to the current flowing from the emitter region plus the current that is generated across the reverse bias junction, that is IC naught. So these two are the currents in the collector current. So this is all about the current components in a transistor. Next, making use of these current components, we have defined three parameters. Okay, the parameters related to current components. The three parameters are emitter efficiency. First parameter is emitter efficiency, or it is also called injection efficiency, represented by gamma. Okay, what is the definition of that? Gamma is equal to gamma nothing but emitter efficiency or injection efficiency. So emitter is actually emitting or injecting the majority charge carriers present in that region into the base region and also into the collector region, right? That's why the name emitter efficiency or injection efficiency. So current of injected carriers at JE, at junction JE, they are injecting from emitter towards the base, they are injected at the junction JE. So current of injected carriers at JE divided by the total emitter current. So what it is injecting actually, it is injecting holes In case of p-type semiconductor material. In case of emitter n-type semiconductor material, it is electrons. Okay, so there are two types of transistors are there: NPN transistor and PNP transistor. I'm talking about PNP transistor here. You can even simply rewrite the same equations for NPN transistor also. So what is the difference between NPN transistor and PNP transistor? NPN transistor, PNP transistor, n-type becomes p-type, p-type becomes n-type. They will be altered, and hole current will becomes electron currents will become hole currents. The polarities of the batteries changes, the directions of the currents changes. All are opposite. Polarities are opposite, directions of the currents are opposite. The current which was due to holes in p-type now will become due to electrons in n-type. So hole current will become electron current will become hole current. Directions of the currents will become opposite, polarities of the batteries will become opposite, and regions also will become interchanged. PNP becomes NPN. So like that, all if you replace, then you will be getting the same analysis for the NPN transistor. So I'm doing this for PNP transistor. PNP transistor emitter efficiency or injection efficiency means the current of injected carriers. In case of PNP transistor, the injected carriers are holes, because emitter is p-type. Emitter is p-type, the majority carriers are holes. So holes are injected into the junction JE. Divided by the total emitter current is, because of holes plus electrons are minority, holes are majority. So the injected carriers are holes, but the total number of carriers present in the emitter region are holes plus electrons. Therefore, gamma is equal to IHE, is injected carrier current is hole current IHE, divided by the total current is IHE plus IEE. Therefore, it can be written as IHE by IE. IE is equal to, since IE is equal to majority hole current plus minority electron current. Total current is IE. So that is about the emitter efficiency. Emitter efficiency is equal to injected carriers at the junction JE divided by the total emitter current. So in case of PNP transistor, it is gamma is equal to IHE by IHE plus IEE. In case of NPN transistor, the numerator will be because of the electron. So it will become IEE divided by IEE plus IHE. That is the difference. Okay, next, second parameter. Second parameter is transport factor, represented by beta. Transport factor is nothing but current of injected carriers at junction JC divided by current of injected carriers at junction JE. That means what is the current due to the injected carriers at junction JC? Junction JC is because of holes only. In both the cases, because of holes only, because it is PNP transistor, majority carriers are holes. So holes are injected at JC and holes are injected at JE. But at JE and at JC, the whole quantity is not same. At JE it is 100, at JC it is 95 only. Where the 5 is going, it is recombining in the base. That means how many are injected at emitter, how many are injected at collector junctions. So emitter junction is 100, collector junction is 95. Then in the base, the remaining 5 are recombining. So current of injected carriers at JC is IHC. Okay, these injected carriers are again holes only in case of PNP. So, and current of injected carriers at junction JE is IHE. So IHE and IHC both are not same, right? IHE is 100%, IHC is 95%. Remaining 5% are recombined in the base region. So this transport factor is the current of injected carriers at junction JC, which is IHC, divided by the current of injected carriers at junction JE, which is IHE. So the ratio of IHC to IHE is transport factor beta. Okay, that is second parameter. Next, coming to third parameter, which is amplification factor alpha. Amplification factor alpha, nothing but in the collector region, what is the incremental current, and in the emitter region, what is the incremental current. Okay, so it is emitter current increment from cutoff value to IE. So this is actually emitter increment value. So numerator is collector current increment and denominator is emitter current increment. So increment value is what when the junction is cut off. Cutoff nothing but what? Reverse saturation current, right? When the junction is reverse saturation current, IC is called IC naught. When the junction is reverse saturation current as well as the current that is coming from the emitter junction, both will be considered as IC. That means what? IC naught is the one value. IC naught is one value initially. Then it is now becoming IC. IC is equal to IC naught plus something else is also. But that something else of IHC is not there in this case. So it is incremental value from IC naught to IC. Initially, IE is 0. 0 is now becoming IE. Okay. So 0 is incrementing to IE. IC naught is incrementing to IC. So because of that, the incremental value can be taken as IC minus IC naught. The incremental value here will be IC minus IC naught. Here the incremental value is IE change in the value. Initial value is this one. Initial value is this one. Final value is this one. Then change will be the difference of these two. Similarly, here also initial value is this one. Final value is this one. Change is this one. So change is incremental value. So difference between these two, IC minus IC naught. Here IE minus I naught. So you will be getting the expression alpha is equal to IC minus IC naught divided by IE. IC minus IC naught divided by IE. That is what is the amplification factor. So incremental current collector current value divided by incremental emitter current value, that is given by IC minus IC naught divided by IE. Okay, so this can also be written like this, right? How you got this alpha value? Alpha value is nothing but IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC naught. This was the equation we have seen in the previous slide. So in this, what is alpha is equal to IC minus IC naught by IE. Is it not like that? The same thing here also. IC minus IC naught divided by IE. So that is incremental collector current value divided by incremental emitter current value. So that is what is alpha is equal to IC minus IC naught by IE. That also can be written from the previous equation. IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC naught. Alpha is equal to IC minus IC naught by IE. So these are three important parameters related to the current components. Okay, all these are in terms of current components. So emitter efficiency, gamma, transport factor beta, amplification factor alpha. That is all about the current components. Next topic is configurations, BJT configurations. Now you understood what are all the currents that are present in the transistors. You know that the for any type of transistor, whether it is NPN transistor or PNP transistor, you should remember that IE is equal to IB plus IC. Always emitter current is equal to base current plus collector current, and base current is very small, of the order of microamperes. And if base current is very small, sometimes we may even approximate like IE is equal to IB plus IC. I'm writing, right? Sometimes I can even approximate IB is very small, can be ignored, and I can write IE and IC are same because 100 and 95 are more close to each other, right? Approximately. I'm not taking not telling exactly it is 95%, greater than or equal to 95. That means sometimes it can be IE is 100, IC is 99 also, IB is 1%. So 99 and 100 are same. 1% if you ignore, IC and IE are same. So in the equation, IE is equal to IB plus IC. This IE is expressed in milliamperes. IB is expressed in microamperes or nanoamperes, like that. Again, IC is expressed in milliamperes. Okay. Now this IB is very small. Sometimes I can even say IE is approximately same as IC. Okay. These approximations also sometimes we may use it to do. Okay. So that means you should remember what is the magnitudes of IE, IB, and IC. Right. So IE, among all these three, this IE is large current. This is small current. This is moderate current. In terms of magnitudes, you should tell which is large, which is small, which is moderate. It's not even moderate. It is also large only. This maybe you can write very large. This is large simply. That means both are almost close to each other. This IE and IC are both are close to each other. Okay, that is about the currents. Now we will see configurations. So what are the configurations? Means configurations nothing but, because it is having three terminals, I want to represent the transistor as a two-port network. I don't know if you know the two-port meaning of two-port network from basic electrical engineering. So two-port network, nothing but it is represented like SR any network. I'm representing the network with just a black box. It is having some network. Okay. I call this as a two-port network actually. Two-port network means input is input side. This is input side. Okay. Of this network, and this is output side. So input side we will be having two ports represented as 1 dash. Okay. Output is also having like two terminals. I can say this is not two ports, two terminals. Okay, two terminals are 1 dash. I can represent one is plus, one dash is minus, positive, negative, two terminals. So on output side also we have got two terminals. 2 dash we could represent that 2 dash. This 2 is positive, 2 dash is negative. So now this together positive and negative, this we call it as a port, input port. This is also we call it as output port. So input is having a port with two terminals, output is having a port with two terminals. So this network we call it as a two port network. So in this two port network, this negative port is there, right? Negative terminal is there on both sides, both the ports. This negative terminal is generally common both the sides, and that is connected to the ground. Okay, so that means 1 dash and 2 dash, 1 dash terminal and 2 dash terminals both are negative, and actually they are ground and common for both the ports, So now the input here I can represent that this positive terminal of the input side, is input, positive terminal on the output side is output, and negative terminal on either of the sides is the common or ground. Now how many terminals do you have? This is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 3 is common, right? Why I have to represent 1 dash, 2 dash? Because both are same. So I can represent that with a 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 3 only. But 3 is common for both sides, input side as well as output side. So it is like any three terminal device. Three-terminal device can be represented as two-port network. Two-port network. So here three-terminal device is nothing. Is it transistor not a three-terminal device? Yes. So out of three terminals, one terminal you take it as a common. The other two terminals will act like a input and output. Okay. This three-terminal transistor is there, right? Which is having emitter, base, collector. Three terminals are there. So out of these three terminals, you choose one among these as one you choose it as 2, the other you can choose it as 3. So based upon that, so which terminal you are taking it as a common? Third terminal, you can have either electron emitter, or you can have a base, or you can even have a collector. So which one you want to keep that terminal common among these three? So you'll get three combinations. So one time I keep emitter as common, one time I keep base as common, one combination I keep collector as common, and the remaining two terminals you choose which is input, which is output, depending upon the behavior of the transistor. Okay, so how many combinations I get where these three terminals, one of them is made common? So because three terminals are there, three combinations you will get. Any one of these three can be made common, right? So like that, there are three BJT configurations are there, whether that is NPN or PNP, whatever it may be. So in both NPN and PNP transistors, you have got base, emitter, collector. But only thing is the behavior of the transistor is different. The flow of current is in opposite directions, but everything else is same. So NPN or PNP, both are having three terminals. So both can be represented as two-port networks, assuming one of their terminals to be grounded. So like that, how many combinations you will get, how many configurations you get by choosing the one of the terminal as a common or ground. So I can choose base as common. Therefore, you will get the first term as common base configuration. If I choose base as common, then I'll get common base configuration. If I choose emitter as common, I'll get common emitter configuration. If I choose collector as common, I'll get common collector configuration. So there are three types of configurations. Three types of configurations. Those three types of configurations are represented by common base, common emitter, common collector. In short, they are represented as CB, CE, CC. These are the standard abbreviations for the three configurations. So the either NPN or PNP transistor, these three types of configurations holds good. So we can either choose any type of transistor it is, NPN or PNP. So we can represent that transistor in common base configuration. So common base configuration is also written as common base, nothing but what? Common nothing but it is also ground terminal, right? So this is also called as grounded base configuration. Grounded base configuration. So similarly, we can write it for common emitter also. Grounded emitter configuration, grounded collector configuration, like that. So this is another name for the common base or grounded base, common emitter or grounded emitter. But mostly we call the configurations by CB configuration, CE configuration, CC configuration only. But the other name can also be grounded base, grounded collector, grounded emitter, like that. Okay. Now, how do we represent? One of them is considered as ground. Okay, one of them I'm considering it as a ground. See, in this case, base I'm considering it as ground base. If I'm considering base as ground, the emitter is taken as input, collector is taken as the output. In this, I am representing for NPN and PNP. Both diagrams are there. Emitter is represented here, collector is represented here. So base is connected to the ground, which is called common. So input is emitter, output is collector, base is common. Okay. So therefore, this is called as common emitter, common base configuration. So you have to remember, in common base configuration, base is ground, emitter is input, collector is output. Very, very important. Common base configuration, base is ground, emitter is input, collector is output. Okay. Next, second configuration, common emitter configuration. Common emitter configuration is also called as grounded emitter configuration. Emitter is ground here. Emitter is ground. Base is input. Collector is output. Okay, collector is output. Next, coming to the collector. Collector is ground in this case. Collector is ground. Base is input. Emitter is output. So these are all the things. So common emitter configuration, common base configuration, common collector configuration. I am telling that it is a two-port network. It is represented as a two-port network. In the two-port network, it will have input terminal, output terminal, and a common terminal. Common terminal is for both the ports. In both the ports negative terminals, we call that as a common terminal. So total, the three terminals are there. These three terminals, one terminal can be made common at a time. Therefore, three configurations we get: common base configuration, common emitter configuration, common collector configuration. So if the name itself is telling us common base means base is ground, then you have to choose the remaining two as one is input, one is output. So emitter is chosen generally the inputs and outputs how we choose is most preferably collector should be the output. Okay, because it is collecting the majority charge carriers and it is the output terminal. So collector is the output. So when collector itself is grounded, suppose in other two cases, when base is grounded, emitter is grounded, definitely collector will be the output. The remaining terminals will be the input. Now when collector itself is grounded, common, then remaining two are base and emitter. In base and emitter is chosen as output. So generally, whichever is the larger current, we will be choosing, because the large current you will be getting in the output, the small current is at the input, then that is the where transistor is used for applications, amplifier applications or so. So generally, output current should be larger than the input current. Okay, our output current is almost the same as the input current. These two cases. Or the emitter is generally emitting is at input side, collecting is generally at output side. So collector is output terminal, emitter can be chosen as input terminal. If it is common emitter, base is chosen as input terminal, collector is chosen as output terminal. If it is common collector, Base is chosen as input terminal, emitter is chosen as output terminal. Okay, so emitter and collectors are suitable for output terminals, whereas base and emitters are choosable for input terminal. So depending upon that, applications what we are finding out for these three configurations, those are chosen accordingly. Therefore, you have to remember when the base and collector or emitter, these are grounded, which are inputs, which are outputs. So this slide is very, very important. We will be further proceeding with this information in the coming topics. Even when we are constructing the amplifiers also, we will construct the amplifiers, whether it is common emitter amplifier, common base amplifier, common collector amplifier. In that case, you should tell what is ground, what is input, what is output, like that. Okay, so these three circuit diagrams and the three configurations, and in each of these three configurations, which is common, which is input, which is output, these three things you have to remember. Okay, next. Now each of these configurations, we will just go and draw the circuit diagrams, and we will derive. Now we know what is input, what is output, what is common. Now we have to derive the expression for the output currents. Okay, now common base configuration. Common base configuration, I already told, the input signal is applied between emitter and base, while the output is taken from collector and base. Output is collector, input is emitter, and common is base. Okay, that is almost like if it is common base configuration, emitter is input, this is emitter, this is collector is output, and for both the common terminal is base. So this is base. So base nothing but this side it is base, this side also is base. So base is for both the sides. So I can represent like that. So base is common for both input circuit as well as output circuit. So this is input, this is output. So output is taken between collector and base. Input is applied between emitter and base. So base is common for both the inputs. So it is almost like this is 1 dash, 2 dash. So 1 dash and 2 dash both are bases only. 1 is emitter, 2 is collector. 1 dash and 2 dash are base. Okay, so emitter to base input, collector to base is output. So base is common for both input and output. Then therefore the name is common base configuration. Okay, so base is common for both input and output. Base is 1 dash and 2 dash for both input and output. Therefore we will be taking that as a common base configuration. And when that is the case, the input is emitter, output is collector. And this is for NPN transistor as well as PNP transistor. Both you can represent. What is the difference in both the current directions are opposite? See, if you see IE, emitter current, base current, collector current, directions are opposite. Polarities, if you see VEB, here it is plus minus, here it is minus plus. Here it is plus minus, here it is minus plus. Battery polarities are reversed. Current directions are opposite. And the symbol is having emitter current arrow is outside is NPN, arrow is inside is PNP. So once you know how to draw one transistor, the other transistor circuit diagram will be simple. Just the directions and polarities are to be opposite. Okay, and NPN regions are replaced with PNP regions. Okay, so this is the way how we do the common base connection. Common base connection nothing but base is ground, emitter is input, collector is output. Input signal is applied between emitter and base. Output is taken across the load resistor RC between collector and base. And these two are provided with the biasing voltages VEE, VCC or VEB, VCB. Both are same. So that's why in one diagram I represented VEB, VCB. In the other diagram I represented VEE, VCC. Okay. So we can either connect VEE, VCC or VEB, VCB. VEE, VCC I am writing because it is emitter, this is collector. Then what will be the remaining thing will be base only, which is anyhow is the ground. So VEE, VCC I am representing means base is ground only, by default is understood. So here VEB, VCB, this is between VEB and this is between VCB. So it is represented as VEB, VCB. Or simply we can write it as VCC, VEE. So these all both will give you the same information, but the other way of representing the voltages. Okay. Next, now in this common base configuration, we define the amplification factors in each of the configuration. Amplification factor is nothing but it is the ratio of output current to the input current. Now you know what is output, what is input. Output is collector, input is emitter. So if output is collector, input is emitter, the current will be flowing, right? So what is the current that is flowing here? Output current is because output terminal is what? Collector terminal. Output current is IC. Input is here emitter. So IE. So if I want the ratio between output current to input current, that is what we call it as current amplification factor. Alpha is nothing but output current divided by input current. Okay, so that is what we call it as current amplification factor. That's what we are defining now. Now the current amplification factor is represented by alpha when no signal is applied. No signal, nothing but what? Your signal is nothing but AC. So batteries are nothing but DC. So DC biasing is done, but if I apply the AC also to the input circuit, now the circuit will become AC circuit. Okay. If I am not applying any AC, then it will become just a DC circuit. DC circuit nothing but which has got only the batteries connected, but not AC input connected. Only DC input is connected. So when no signal is applied means when no AC input is applied, then the ratio of the collector current to the emitter current is called the alpha DC. That means it is only because of the DC batteries that I have connected, the current flowing will be DC only, not AC. Okay. So if you connect AC is also, then you will be having both types of currents. So there will be behavior of the transistor for DC, behavior of the transistor for AC. Both combinations will be there. Now I am not applying any AC. When no signal is applied means when no AC is applied, then the ratio of the collector current to the emitter current is called alpha DC or DC alpha of a transistor. So here it is alpha DC, again alpha AC, both will be there. Alpha DC is when no signal is applied. Alpha AC means when signal is applied. So signal here nothing but generally AC only. Signal means AC. So alpha DC is equal to minus IC divided by IE. I told that output current is the IC, input current is IE. Now why this minus sign has come? So if you see the figure, it is alpha is nothing but it is the ratio of output current to the input current. We already know from the figure output terminal is collector, input terminal is emitter. Therefore, collector current will be flowing in the output terminal, emitter current will be flowing in the input terminal. Therefore, output current divided by input current is collector current divided by emitter current. That is no doubt. Okay, IC by IE. But why this negative sign has come? Negative sign is because of the directions of the currents. If you see, the output current is flowing inside. Is it not? IC is flowing inside, inside, and the emitter current is flowing outside. Outside means it is coming out of the transistor. Out of transistor, out of current, it is flowing inside. Inside it is flowing. So current is flowing inside, one is flowing outside. So these two currents are opposite in direction. One is coming inside, the other one is going outside. That's why the sign is negative. So in this formula, alpha DC is equal to minus IC by IE. Negative sign signifies that IE flows into the transistor while IC flows out of it. Okay, that's why the direction is opposite. Either both should flow inside or both should flow outside. But one is flowing inside, one is flowing outside, therefore negative sign. If both coming inside, both going outside, then we might have kept a plus sign. So by considering only magnitudes, okay, the of the currents, IC is equal to IE and hence IE is equal to IB plus IC and hence IB is equal to IE minus IC. Okay, magnitudes of the currents if you take IE is equal to IB plus IC. Okay, if you rearrange this IB you will get it as IE minus IC. Okay, now therefore IB is equal to IE minus IC can be written as, I am taking only the magnitude. IC can be written as alpha times of IE. So IE minus alpha times of, in place of here IC is equal to alpha times of IE. If you substitute that here, then you will get the equation here. IB is equal to IE minus alpha times of IE is equal to 1 minus alpha times of IE. So IB can be written as 1 minus alpha times of IE. And IC can be written as alpha times of IE. That means just I am writing IB and IC expression in terms of IE. IC is alpha times of IE. IB is 1 minus alpha times of IE. Okay. So suppose alpha is equal to, say, alpha is equal to 0.95. Then IC is equal to 0.95 times of IE. whereas IB is equal to 1 minus 0.95 is 0.05. 0.05 times of IE. Is it not specifying you the magnitudes of IB and IC, how they are related with IE? 5% of IE, 95% of IE. That is what is showing. So the same thing is represented here. IC is alpha times of IE, IB is 1 minus alpha times of IE. If say alpha is equal to 0.95, you will be getting IC is 95% of IE, IB is 5% of IE. So that is what is the relationship that is giving. By this is very, very important relations. IC is equal to alpha IE, IB is equal to 1 minus alpha into IE. Next, now when signal is applied means AC is applied. AC is applied. Generally AC, if you take the change or the change in the currents we take. So DC means only one current, constant current will be there all the time. Therefore, we have taken IC by IE. But here when AC is applied, the ratio of change in the collector current to the change in the emitter current. So delta IC divided by delta IE we have to take when AC is applied. The current keeps changing alternately. So therefore, the amplitudes will not be uniform at any instant of time. So therefore, we have to take the change in the collector current to the change in the emitter current when the collector to base voltage is kept constant, and that we call it as current amplification factor, which is represented by alpha AC. Alpha AC is equal to minus delta IC divided by delta IE. So this is for AC. If you write it for DC, alpha DC is equal to minus IC divided by IE. So this is at any point it is constant, therefore minus IE I have taken. But for AC it is changing, therefore I have to take the change in the current divided by change in the emitter current. Change in collector current divided by change in emitter current. Now for all practical purposes, both are same. Alpha DC and alpha AC are same, and it is represented as alpha. And the practical value of this alpha for commercial transistors ranges between 0.9 to 0.99. Okay, this is the typical values of alpha. Alpha value ranges between 0.9 to 0.99. Okay, that is about alpha. Now we derive the expression for the output collector current. Output collector current is consists of two components. One is current due to majority charge carriers is IE. Current due to minority charge carriers is ICB naught. IC naught can be written as ICB naught because it is in common base configuration. So I am writing that as ICB naught. ICB naught, ICB naught or IC naught are same, and that is reverse saturation current. Okay, reverse saturation current. So we know already IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICB naught. Now I can even write this is also one expression for the output collector current in common base configuration. I can even represent this in terms of IB also. Okay, I have represented IC in terms of IE. I want to represent that in the IB. Then what is the relationship between IE and IB? We know IE is equal to IB plus IC. So just substitute in place of IE, you will get IB plus IC. IC is equal to alpha into IB plus IC plus ICB naught. Now we can write it as take IC common and bring this alpha IC on the left hand side. Then you will get alpha IC if you take common 1 minus alpha is equal to alpha beta alpha into IB plus ICB naught. Then IC will be represented as IC is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha into IB plus 1 by 1 minus alpha into ICB naught. This is one expression for a collector current in terms of emitter current. This is another equation for collector current in terms of base current. Okay, so these two are the alternate expressions. Collector current in terms of emitter current, collector current in terms of base current. Okay, so this is about the output current expression for common base configuration. Next, similar procedure we have to do it for common emitter as well as common collector. We have to draw the circuit diagram and we have to show that what is input, what is output, what is ground. Okay, and we have to connect the battery terminals in such a way that always emitter base junction should be forward biased, collector base junction should be reverse biased. In every circuit, the batteries should be connected between the input terminal and the ground terminal, output terminal and the ground terminal. Okay, batteries are connected in such a way that ground terminal is identified, input terminal is identified, output terminal is identified. Now input terminal to ground terminal, we have to connect one battery. Output terminal to the ground terminal, we have to connect one battery. And these two batteries should be connected in such a way that the polarities of these two batteries are connected in such a way that the emitter based junction should be forward biased, collector based junction should be reverse biased all the time. That means the transistor should be operated in the active region. Next, common emitter configuration. So common emitter configuration means emitter is ground, base is input, collector is output. Okay, the same is in the PNP also. This is ground, emitter is ground, base is input, collector is output. Now between input and ground we have to connect one battery. Between output and ground we have to connect one battery. Those batteries are represented by the input terminal and emitter terminal as VBE, VBE. Because emitter is common and base is input, VBE. Or otherwise, what is the other name for this battery? Not with respect to common, only with respect to input side, VBB. Now this battery is connected between collector and emitter, therefore VCE. Or if you don't consider the common terminal, what is the other name for this one? Only output terminal, VCC. So only in terms of output terminal is VCC. Only in terms of input terminal is VBB. In terms of input and ground, output and ground is VBE, VCE. Okay, VCE. Similarly here also. Now from these diagrams, what you are understanding is these two transistors, NPN and PNP, whatever you take, it is a common emitter connection or common emitter configuration. Emitter is ground, base is input, collector is output. And we are connecting a battery between input to ground and output to ground. Those batteries are VBE, VCE. Okay. And these batteries should forward bias the emitter junction, reverse bias the collector junction, so that it should be operated in the active region. Okay. So that is the way we have to do. Now the input signal is between base and emitter, while the output is between collector and emitter. As the emitter is common for both the circuits, hence the name common emitter configuration. Okay. Now in this case, this is base and emitter has got a junction, right? Junction. That junction is emitter junction. It has got a junction. That junction is emitter junction. Now this is NPN transistor, right? This is N, this is P, this is N. Very, very important here. NPN transistor, NPN, and emitter base junction should be forward biased. Okay, emitter base junction should be forward biased. Now, in this emitter base junction should be forward biased, nothing but what? Positive terminal of the battery. This is NP. Sorry, this is NPN transistor. No, this is not NPN transistor. NPN transistor should have an arrow outside. This is actually PNP transistor. It is interchanged here. I mean, NPN transistor should have arrow outside. So this is NPN. This is PNP. I did not observe in the previous circuit also. You should tell NPN transistor should have emitter current outside. PNP transistor should have emitter current inside. So this is PNP. Okay. So by this now, positive terminal of the battery is connected to P side. Okay. And emitter negative terminal of the battery is connected to the N side. So is it not forward biased? It is forward biased. Similarly, for NPN transistor also, this is N, this is P, this is N. Positive terminal of the battery is connected to the P side. Negative terminal of the battery is connected to the N side. Therefore, this junction also is forward biased. Which junction it is? Emitter junction. So emitter junction is forward biased. Now we'll check whether this collector base junction is forward biased or reverse biased. It should be reverse biased, right? So collector base junction is where? This one, right? This junction, collector, and this is collector, this is base. So there exists a collector junction here between these two terminals. This is a base, This is the collector. So the collector junction exists between these two. But did I connect any battery between collector and base? I did not connect any battery between collector and base, right? But I have connected the battery between collector and emitter. There is a battery, collector and emitter. So what is the battery? Collector is at negative terminal, base emitter is at positive terminal. See, this is plus minus. Okay, so this is minus. And what about the base? Base is also connected with negative terminal. Base is also minus. Base is minus, collector is minus. Now, how I can make this collector base junction reverse bias? Can someone of you can tell? Both are connected. Base terminal is connected to negative terminal of some battery with respect to ground, and collector is also connected to negative terminal of another battery VCE with respect to ground. So both base and collector are at negative terminals. Now, will I be able to reverse bias this junction? A PN junction is there. PN junction is there. I represent PN junction with say PN junction. This is anode. Say this is cathode. So this is P type. This is N type. Now both the terminals are connected with negative voltages, minus minus. Now what should be the values of these two negative voltages such that this diode should be reverse biased? Generally reverse biasing nothing but what? VA should be less than VK. This is the condition, right, to reverse bias a junction. VA should be less than VK. Now both should be negative voltages. How I can make this less than VA less than VK? What values I have to choose? Minus minus, both are minus, but VA should be less than VK. How it will be? What should be the value of this one here, which I want to write it for negative magnitude of the value? So VA should be less than VK. Both are negative, but still, what is that I have to do? Suppose if I keep minus 5 here, minus 5 here, minus 5. Here if I keep minus 2, which one is less? Minus 5 minus 2. Which one is less here? Minus 5 is less or minus 2 is less? Is it satisfying this condition of VA less than VK if I choose the bracket term as 5 and 2 as anode and cathode respectively? So definitely minus 5 is less than minus 2. So therefore VA is less than VK. That means though both terminals are negative, still I can make this junction reverse bias by choosing this is P type, this is anode. Now this is anode and this is cathode, and this value of the negative should be larger. That's why if you see here how many cells I have connected, 1 2 3, 3 cells. The battery has got 3 cells here. 3 cells means this magnitude of VCE is greater than the magnitude of VBE. That means if this is 5 volts, this is 2 volts, this minus 2 is here, this minus 5 is here. So definitely this junction will be reverse biased. That means whatever may be the battery is connected between the terminals, it need not be in all the three configurations that the battery is connected between base, emitter and base, and collector and base directly, but the polarities or magnitudes of the voltages appearing on the collector base junctions, collector base regions or emitter base regions, we have to decide whether that particular junction is forward biased or reverse biased. So here this junction, emitter junction, is forward biased and collector junction is reverse biased, though directly the batteries are not connected across these two terminals, but the magnitudes of the voltages appearing across the terminals, we have to decide whether that junction is forward biased or reverse biased. Okay, so that is another important point that you have to remember. So in all the cases it should be emitter base junction should be forward biased, collector base junction should be reverse biased. Wherever the terminals of the batteries are connected, whatever may be the batteries, wherever they are connected, we have to always see the collector base junction whether it is reverse biased or forward biased, depending upon how much collector voltage is there, how much emitter base voltage is there. These two we have to compare and see whether VA is less than VK or VA is greater than VK. Okay, that is about the thing. Next, now again current amplification factor in common emitter configuration. Same thing, we have to define beta DC and beta AC. Beta DC means when no signal is applied, when signal is applied. When no signal is applied, beta DC. When signal is applied, beta AC. Beta DC means output current divided by output current divided by in both the cases output current divided by input current only, but the change in the output current by change in the input change will be taken for when AC signal is applied. They will take only a value at one point because it is constant current. Constant current will be flowing in case of DC. Therefore, we'll take it only IC by IB. Here there is no negative sign because both will be, in this case, if you see the figure, both currents are outside or inside. In case of PNP outside, in case of PNP NPN, it is inside. So both are inside or both are outside, therefore positive sign. So output current is collector current, output current is collector current, input current is base current. So IC by IB. So delta IC by delta IB. And the range of this beta value lies between 20 to 500 typically. Okay, typically the range of beta value is 20 to 500. Whereas the range of alpha value is between 0.9 to 0.99. Okay, so that is about the alpha beta values. Next, current expression. IC is equal to beta times of IB plus ICE naught. So this common emitter configuration, the expression for the collector current can be given as IC is equal to beta times of IB. So beta is telling us that it is a fraction of IC is the fraction of IB. Okay, so beta times of IB. It may be 220 times or 500 times, whatever it may, because IB is very small, IC is large. So therefore, we have to multiply by a factor beta, current amplification factor beta. And along with that, you have got reverse saturation current ICE naught also. So that is one expression. And this is in terms of IC in terms of IB. Now I want IC in terms of IB can also be written. We already know from this common base configuration, CB configuration, we already know. We derived the IC in terms of IB, this equation. Okay. And if you compare both of them, we can write it as, in place of beta, what is there here? Alpha by 1 minus alpha. So beta can be written as beta is equal to alpha by 1 minus alpha. This gives you the relationship between alpha and beta. Relation between alpha and beta. And you will be getting the second term if you equate ICE naught is equated to 1 by 1 minus alpha into ICB naught. So this equation will give you the relationship between the reverse saturation current in common base configuration and the reverse saturation current in common emitter configuration. These two are related by 1 by 1 minus alpha. Okay, ICE naught is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha times of ICB naught. So this is also very, very important relationships. And this can also be rearranged or rewritten as 1 by 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 by 1 plus beta. This is another relationship. So these are all the expressions for the collector currents and the relationship between alpha and beta and the relationship between common base reverse saturation current and common emitter reverse saturation current. ICE naught is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha into ICB naught. Okay, these are all are very, very important equations while solving the problems. Next, last configuration, common collector configuration. In this configuration, the input signal is applied between base and collector, and the output is taken from the emitter and collector. As the collector is common to both input and output, hence the name common collector. So the collector is common, base is input, emitter is output in two cases. Okay, it is NPN transistor, another one is PNP transistor. Next, the current amplification factor in this case is gamma. When no signal is applied, it is the ratio of output current. Output current is emitter current, input current is base current. Gamma DC can be written like this. When signal is applied, the ratio of change in the output current divided by change in the input current is given by gamma AC. And this generally IE is almost same as IC. So the configuration provides the same current again as common emitter circuit, because IC and common emitter is what, actually common base is what, common emitter is what, alpha is equal to beta is equal to beta DC is equal to output current is common emitter, means emitter is ground, output is IC by IB, whereas here it is beta AC is equal to delta IC divided by delta IB. Is it not IE and IC are same because IB is very, very small, IC and IE are very, very small, IC and IB are same. Now what happens here, alpha, beta, gamma and beta are almost same, IC and IE are almost same. That means the configuration provides the same current gain as common emitter circuit, but the voltage gain is less than 1. Okay, voltage gain is different, but current gain is providing almost same because IC is approximately same as IE. Okay, so this is the definition of gamma DC, gamma AC. Now the current expression, output current expression is IE. Yeah, total current emitter current is IE. Output current is IE. Otherwise, this is output current is IE, and IE can be written as, you know, by the basic formula IB plus IC. And IC you already know in terms of alpha, alpha as alpha IE plus ICB naught. And that if you substitute it here, you will get the expression as IE is equal to IB plus alpha IE plus ICB naught. Okay, and we have got this IE. If you take common, take this onto the left side and take common, you will get the expression as IE is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha into IB plus 1 by 1 minus alpha into ICB naught. Just to take this onto the left side and take common IE, you will get this expression. And you know the relationship between alpha and beta. Okay, 1 by 1 minus alpha is equal to 1. Since 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 by 1 plus beta. This one we have seen in the previous slide. 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 by 1 minus 1 plus beta, or 1 by 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 plus beta. So same thing, I'm just substituting 1 by 1 minus alpha as 1 plus beta, 1 by 1 minus alpha as 1 plus beta. Then you will get this expression. Okay, so this is what is the equation for the current. Emitter current. And the relationship between beta and gamma, you can relate. Gamma is equal to IE by IB. IE is equal to IB plus IC by IB. Then you will get 1 plus beta. So you will get the relationship between gamma and beta as gamma is equal to 1 plus beta. Okay. And already all the three relationships, if you take, gamma is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 plus beta. So this gamma is equal to 1 plus beta means 1 by 1 gamma is equal to 1 minus alpha, or gamma is equal to 1 by 1 minus alpha. So these are all the relationships between alpha, beta, and gamma. Okay, so you know the relationship between alpha, beta, gamma, and definitions of alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha is nothing but what? In common base configuration. Beta is nothing but in common emitter configuration. Gamma is nothing but in common collector configuration. Common base configuration, what is the output voltage? IC. What is the input? IE. IC by IE. Beta in common emitter configuration. Common emitter configuration, the output is IC, input is IB. And in common collector configuration, output is IE, input is IB, collector is ground. So these three definitions of alpha, beta, gamma, you know, and the relationship between alpha, beta, gamma are given like this. And in each of these configurations, the output current expressions are also derived in terms of alpha, beta, gammas, and in terms of base currents, collector currents, and emitter currents, and reverse saturation currents of ICB naught or ICE naught. So these all equations you have to remember and use them while solving the problems. Okay, this is all about the transistor configurations.